Hi, everyone. Welcome to another amazing topic of conversation. I want to thank my sponsors, the Health Channel. So please sign up for anything regarding your health. And if you need an office just for an hour, a virtual or a boardroom, Alexa's Workspaces can make it happen. And if you want to become your own entrepreneur and have an online boutique, Hermosa Mujer will be able to help you. So, Bill, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Gladys. As I like to say, it's good to be here. And at my age, it's good to be anywhere. So thank you.
So, Bill, you're an inspiration for all of us in the event and hospitality industry. Not only you have been a pioneer, but you can show us that we can keep on going when you really have the passion for this industry. And I think that beyond passion is work ethic and to continue doing it, building a real good team. Am I missing something?
No, I think the main thing that we have to have is if we don't love what we do, then we need to find something else. And I've been blessed that the Lord has led me to something that I really love. I'm a people person. I love people. I love my employees. I love my clients. And I'm very passionate about delighting each and every guest that we have that experiences a wedding, a corporate event, or any type of board meeting or whatever we cater.
So, Bill, go back and tell me who has been one of your most cherished moments or person that you were like humble to cater to. I know you've catered a list of very famous people, but who has been that person that really stuck?
There's a number of them, but the September day in 1987, when we catered for Pope John Paul II and President and Mrs. Ronald Reagan, that was a wonderful experience. And since that time, I've catered for President Obama and both Presidents Bush. So, yeah.
Any special memory that you have? And for
Well,
many people, it would be the Super Bowl, not the presidents, right?
yes. Well, we've also catered Super Bowl parties at Sea Aquarium. We had two Super Bowls in a row back at the end of the 90s. There was a huge party that was a Super Bowl party, and it was considered the best party, the most elite invitation you can get. And it was put on by Steinberg and Morad. They were sports agents. And during that period of time, I catered for Ted Kennedy, Senator Kennedy, Oliver Stone, a number of very prominent athletes. And there were 2,000 people on the Saturday before Super Bowl over at the Miami Sea Aquarium on that grassy area overlooking the city of Miami. That was special, very special.
So you know the ins and outs of this industry. You've been through the ups, you've been through the downs when there was a recession, when there was COVID, and we had to literally rearrange ourselves and figure out what was going on in the world. But have you noticed any different from this generation regarding like the work ethic, the training, anything special?
Well, certainly there's seasons for everything, as I like to say. And this season with the younger people, I have found that they do have a work ethic, because if they don't have a work ethic, Gladys, they're not going to work for me for very long. Okay.
Yeah.
They have to work, they have to work hard, but then also we like to have fun in our company too. We have special events where we work on our culture. We go to a baseball game, or today my culture committee is meeting to discuss some things that we're going to be doing. We're trying to create a nice dining area here for everybody so everybody can sit together. But I believe if you treat people with dignity and respect, and they know that you mean business and you deal with people with love and kindness, they'll give you their best shot. They will give you the best shot. And I have people that, I mean, one of my employees, Valentina, she was up till 2 o'clock in the morning yesterday finishing up a proposal for a bid we're putting in to cater the FIFA event for when they plan the tournament in June and July. It's 43 days and 600 people a day. So yes, yes,
43 days?
yeah, 43 days. Yes, yeah. It's in Coral Gables. It's their office on Ponce, I believe, in Coral Gables. So, yeah. So, and it's for all of their staff people, I guess, as
I
they
know.
plan the FIFA event.
It's
Yes,
going to be a crazy time.
it will be.
Next.
Yeah, it will
Yes.
be. So yes, I mean, and I see that one of the good things I see corporate business beginning to come back, and we're attracting more than our usual share of it. We have become known for corporate entertaining, and that's what I like, because the corporate work balances the weddings. I couldn't tell you how many weddings we do a year, but I know just this Saturday we have 5 weddings, and I know we have weddings Friday, so I probably cater 600 weddings a year, and I've been catering weddings since, believe it or not, 1969 was when I
Wow.
started catering weddings at the Officers Club in Monterey, California. So I've had my shares of weddings. I don't guarantee that they all work out, but and
That's
even
not your job.
yeah,
As long as they have good food, the
yeah,
marriage is not your job.
exactly. No. So I've done that, and now we're getting more and more into corporate entertaining, which is good because it fills in the week. So yeah.
So, what do you prefer, corporate without the economic implications or anything? What do you prefer, working the corporate or the wedding?
Well, generally, working corporate, there is less drama, and there's generally a shorter time frame from when you start the discussion
Correct.
until the event happens. Many corporate events, like the one we're working on now, we just got the proposal yesterday. It starts June 1st. Whereas with a wedding, sometimes we have weddings booked, Gladys, weddings booked into 2027 at Villa Woodbine. So you can imagine
The
all of the
drama
back
being
and
2 years
forth.
of drama.
Oh my Lord, yes. But we love it, and we take care of our brides. We love our brides, and we do whatever we can to make them happy with with our caring and our determination and our integrity, and most importantly, our passion for quality. So yes, yes, yes. I just
I
took my
remember
jacket off because it's getting hot in here. So
I remember telling the mother of the bride when she asked me, how long do I need to prepare a wedding? And I go, the less time, the better. And she goes, why? Because if not, you're going to hear about it from the day you put the date to the day after they get married.
Exactly.
So it's up to you how long you want to hear the whole drama in between.
Yeah. Oh, yes. For sure. Yeah. The best ones. I one time catered a wedding. They came to me on a Tuesday, and the wedding was Saturday. That was the shortest wedding I ever had. But some of them drag on and on and on. But that's what we're in the business for. If we don't like making people happy and delighting both our external customers as well as our internal customers, our team members, then we're in the wrong business. You know, that's just part of hospitality. It's part of, as some people call it, unreasonable hospitality. It's going the extra mile for people, and that's what we love to do. So.
No, I get it. But for example, when I was asking you about this generation, I've seen that there's a lot of, and remember that I train a lot of the planners, that they don't want to put the time. It's like they want to go from step 1 to step 20 in 1 second.
Mhm. Yep.
Like a very entitlement, and it's like, wait. And the first thing is, this is not a 9 to 5 job.
That's
Like,
right.
look, you just said Valentina stayed until 2 a.m. because of a proposal. And that is something that you need to do. If an event is not over until 3 a.m., then we stay until 3 a.m.
Exactly. It's and what we do and the type of catering that I do, off-premise catering, we work under a number of physically demanding circumstances, whether it's weather, schlepping food and
Yeah.
equipment long distances. So I'd say what we do in off-premise, we are the Navy SEALs. We're the Navy SEALs of the hospitality world. We go in above and beyond. So, yeah.
So, Bill, before we talk about your book, I want you to tell them the story of the wedding dress,
Oh, the famous
the
wedding
famous
story.
wedding dress.
Well, it was December 1992. The bride's name was Fatima Jabai. Her
Oh, with
wedding,
name and everything?
pardon me?
Okay, sharing name and everything.
Yeah, I remember her name. And she had a wedding on a Sunday. And prior to her wedding, she was at a hair salon in downtown Miami called Downtown Underground. It was in the basement of One Biscayne Tower. She left her vehicle parked out on the street with her wedding dress in it. When she came out perfectly coiffed, she noticed one thing was missing in her vehicle. And guess what that was?
Oh,
Somebody had
really?
broke in and stolen her wedding dress. This was about 3 hours prior to her wedding. So she was working with one of the original bridal planners of the day, Lois Beinhorn. Lois Beinhorn was the first planner I ever worked with. And Lois was a pro. And once she learned that this dress is missing, she was able to call a bridal salon owner at home and told her she needs to get down to Miracle Mile to her shop and get Fatima a new
A
dress.
dress.
And so that all happened as quickly as possible. However, the bride wasn't at Vizcaya at the proper time. So she was late and guests were arriving. So we immediately opened the bars up because we knew it would be a while. We started passing hors d'oeuvres and It probably was an hour. The bride was probably an hour late. By the
But
time
that's not much.
no, no,
No, not on the Latin side.
nope, no, not at all. But then everybody was well oiled. They were happy. They'd had a few drinks. So the ceremony went off without a hitch, as did the reception. And I still have a picture somewhere of Fatima dancing with her father. And I'd love to find that. But anyway, the next morning, her brother came by Villa Woodbine, where we operated from back in 1992. And they usually come by saying, did you find an earring? Did you find a shoe? Did you find this? Did you find a camera? Days of the disposable cameras. And
Mm-hmm.
we had found a few things. And then I couldn't help but ask him, did you ever find out who it was that stole your sister's wedding dress? And he said, yes, we did, Bill. It was the groom's former girlfriend. She got the ultimate revenge, stealing the dress.
But she didn't get the groom. So it
No,
wasn't the ultimate revenge.
yeah, yeah. I don't know what happened, but I know that Fatima and her groom, I think they divorced. I did a little background search to see, and
Oh,
yeah, yeah. So that wedding didn't work out, but
so Bill, to your book, which I was honored to be part of as well. Talk about your book. Why now? Give us some insights for those who want to get it. What's it about besides many, many, many years of expertise in this industry, which is not easy?
well, the book is a result of many, many years of catering, going back to the days when I was an officer. Excuse me, when I was an officer in the United States Navy, when I started catering, and I learned so many lessons from that point up to the present time. I made boatloads of mistakes, and I was blessed to be able to do a few things well. So the book is a book about lessons that I've learned in the catering world, but they apply, Gladys, to every business, whether it's sales and marketing or HR or finances or perseverance or the importance of service. It covers myriad things. And one person described it as um, Ambassador Dick Capon, former publisher of the Miami Herald. He wrote, this story is a must read. Think of it as a practical MBA. Think of it as a practical MBA. Lee Schrager, founder and director of the Food Network and the South Beach Food and Wine Festival, he wrote, Plating Up Profits showcases how a hospitality mindset can positively impact organizations and individuals in the business world. And lastly, Linda Gassenheimer, James Beard Award-winning author. You probably know her. I'm actually going to be doing a podcast with her next Monday. But she wrote, Bill Hansen superbly shares his 50 plus years of catering excellence with many tips that will help small business operators. So I pretty much cover a
Yes.
wide gamut of things that happen. The first chapter, dealing with perseverance, talks about my feeling that you're never too old and it's never too late to make changes. And at 72 years young, I realized that I was a highly functioning alcoholic. I drank every day. I would drink at least a bottle of champagne every night, and I would fuel myself during the day with Adderall. And it got to a point where I knew that sooner or later, all of that was going to have an adverse impact on my health. And being a man of prayer and being a one who relies on my Heavenly Father, I finally lifted it up to Him. I lifted it up to God. And I said, listen, I really need to kick this habit. I can't do it on my own. I simply can't. I've tried, but I can't do it. So I'm asking you, Lord, to do whatever you need to do to help me to quit. Believe it or not, Gladys, it was about a month later, June 29th, 2018. I had my usual round of champagne and my usual Adderall, and it was about 8:30 at night in my home in Weston. I blacked out. I passed out. I banged my head on the floor. Fortunately, my wife was awake because I was on blood thinner, still am on blood thinner. So if she hadn't have been awake, I might have bled out right there on the kitchen floor. But she rescued me. She loaded me into an emergency vehicle, and then they rushed me to the hospital. And I'd always get a kick out of rush because I've never heard anyone saying, oh, it was an emergency. And we took a leisurely drive to the hospital. I never heard that. So they rushed me to the hospital. I had a large gash in the top of my head. And so the first thing the nurse decided to do was to staple it shut with this big stapler.
With no anesthesia.
Oh, anesthesia. And I remember him grabbing my head, and I got to tell you, it hurt. It hurt. I didn't scream, but it hurt. And afterwards, I thought about it, and I said, this nurse probably flunked the stapling class at Office Depot because,
But somebody up there was sending you a message.
yeah, exactly. And so that was the last day I ever had a drink. And I've had any number of setbacks over my lifetime, failed marriages, bad business investments, and I cover quite a few of them. That basically my philosophy is every setback can be a setup for a comeback. So we're all going to bounce against the wall. We're all going to walk through those valleys of the shadow of death. We're all going to go there. But that doesn't mean we have to live there. Even in the 23rd Psalm, it says, though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death. It doesn't say we're going to stay in the valley. We're walking through.
It's your choice.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a good part of the book. Another chapter that I really think propelled my career was my ability to serve other people. I've really enjoyed it. And believe it or not, Gladys, back many years ago, I did a survey of 625 meeting and event planners from all over the country. And I received about 120 responses. And one of the questions I asked, would you prefer mediocre food and outstanding service, or outstanding food and mediocre service? 2 out of 3 of the planners said they would rather have the service. Yeah. And really, we're in the service industry. And I will admit, in my early years, I had good food, but it wasn't close to what it is now with my chef Dewey. My food was good, but my service was over the top. I mean, I made everybody feel secure. I made them feel important, and I made them feel accepted. And that's how I have propelled myself for all these years. So service is important.
Service is one of the top things, and when you cater to the Latin community, that if they just arrived here, they're very pampered.
Yep. Mhm.
So every time I do an event, I add more staff so that the service goes even beyond.
That reminds me of a story. I was catering a Vizcaya wedding for a Latin man who lived on Key Biscayne. And normally I don't talk to clients. I mean, I'll say hello when I see them. But he asked that myself and my event producer come over to meet with him at his beautiful waterfront mansion on Key Biscayne. And the first thing he did was he pulled out this Excel spreadsheet. And I'm thinking, uh-oh, he's going to want to beat me up price-wise. It was an $80,000 wedding. So, and I got ready. I put my armor on. And you know what he wanted to talk about? He wanted to talk about the number of servers we have at Vizcaya. Because anybody that's worked there knows you need more servers there per guest than you do anywhere else. And he was more than happy to pay for each of them. So, yeah,
That was a good one. Not
that was,
everybody is the same. Everybody wants to cut corners wherever they can.
I know,
And they don't understand that cutting corners in certain places, you cut service, food, and everything.
One of the chapters in my book is risk taking. Uh, I like to say, I don't think I coined this phrase, but the subtitle of this chapter, chapter number 3 in the book, a turtle goes nowhere until it sticks its neck out. So I have been known to be quite a risk taker. I have made more than my share of bad investments, but for each one, I've looked at it as a learning experience. However, the one risk I took that has paid off in spades was when I decided to lease Villa Woodbine, Miami's #1 wedding venue, back in 1983. That has been the best risk I've ever taken, and it represents over half of my catering sales right now. So we probably
And it has a magic.
it has
It
the magic.
literally has magic.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. So, and I've been there since 1983. My rent when I first moved in '83 was $2,000 a month,
Wow, in
and
80,
I lived upstairs. So I used to joke that every Saturday night we'd have 100 of our closest personal friends come over for dinner. But that was it. You want to know what my rent is now? I should have bought it in 19.
that's what I was gonna tell you. Why didn't you buy it?
Well, it was more than I had. It was they were asking one point. It sold for 1.3 million, and I wasn't smart enough to get a partner, nor um, did I have that kind of money myself back then. So I didn't do it. But anyway, I'm paying the price now because my rent this year has gone up from 2,000 a month to 83 to 60,000 a month. I'm paying rent there at $750,000 a year for rent. And that also includes the house to the north, which I have to rent out because it's so close and no one would live there with all of the music. So the Carrollton School, the owner of the property, they said, okay, there was a tenant that was bothering me. They threw him out and they said, okay, Bill, the tenant's out, but now you're going to have to rent the house from us. So I did. So, yeah.
But yeah, you they won't sell it to you right now. Well,
No, I think when they bought it, it sold for about 10 million.
oh,
So
okay.
and they wanted to turn it into a boys' school, Catholic boys' school. And I haven't really heard much about that
But they
lately.
don't have the space.
They
They
what?
don't have the space for a boys' school. No, they're
Well, it's basically, it's almost 4 acres, so they do. But the original plans they submitted to the city occupied too much of the land and too many buildings, and
that's why.
the neighbors complained about it. They didn't want a swimming pool in their backyard where a bunch of junior high schoolers will be jumping in and out of the water, yelling and screaming. You know, so that's where we're at right now with that. So,
Bill, where can everyone get their book? Get the book.
well, it's for sale on Amazon.
Can you show me the title?
It's called Plating Up Profits.
Okay.
It's on Amazon and it's also on Barnes and Noble. I have 9 reviews already on Amazon. I was going to show them yesterday at the meeting, but every one of the reviews is 5 stars. So you don't find that in books. It's an easy read. You also can listen to it. I actually did an audio recording of the book along with my co-author, Sarah Weber. And I did about 90% of the work over 3 days, and she did 10% of the work. And guess what, Gladys? Guess what? We were up at Power Studios in the middle of nowhere in Coconut Creek. But keep in mind, it was Power Studios, which came out of New York City, where a number of celebrities in the old days would record. And the microphone that Sarah and I used was the same microphone that Frank Sinatra used to record a
Oh,
number of his hits. Yep. Yeah. So
I am sure that you took a picture.
yeah, I think I did. Yeah. I
Of
think I did.
course.
Yeah. So, and then it's on Kindle too, so you can get it anyway. Me personally, I like to read. I like to
Oh,
spend my Sunday
I have
afternoon.
the real copy.
Yep, exactly.
Bill, thank you so much. You're really an inspiration to all of us, to the next generation. And I hope that your passion for this industry is contagious to everyone.
Yeah, so do I. And anybody out there listening, if you want to reach me, my website it's real easy. It's billhansen.com. And that will link you to all of my 4 different catering companies, as well as Villa Woodbine and some other treats, my venue site. So thank you, everybody, for listening. And Gladys, you know I love you. I know you and I traveled to Bogota together, didn't we? Yep.
And you know, I love you too, and you have been an inspiration and a lot of lessons learned.
Thank
So
you.
thank you.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
to everyone, have a good week, stay safe, and above all, let there be peace on earth.
Peace.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Peace on earth, love and kindness. Amen. Hallelujah.
Until next week.
Thank